Welcome back to freeCodeCamp's Basic CSS section. We left off on use hex code for specific colors. It says, did you know there are other ways to represent colors in CSS? One of these ways is called hexadecimal code, or hex code for short. We usually use decimals or base 10 numbers, which use the symbol 0 to 9 for each digit. Hexadecimals or hex are base 16 numbers. This means it uses 16 distinct symbols. Like decimals, the symbol 0 through 9 represents the values 0 to 9, then A, B, C, D, E, F represent the values 10 to 15. Altogether, 0 to F can represent a digit in hexadecimal, giving us 16 total possible values. You can find more information about hexadecimal numbers here. In CSS, we can use 6 hexadecimal digits to represent colors, 2 each for the red, green, and blue components. For example, hashtag 000000 is black and is also the lowest possible value. You can find more information about the RGB color system here. So here we have body, we give it a color, and we give it this hex value. Replace the word black in our body element's background color with its hex code representation #zeros. And let's copy this. So here's our body. Right now the background here is black. So if we were to add that hex code, it shouldn't change. Maybe if we added like AA, it changed. But 00 was black. Run test. We did pass. Use hex code to mix colors. To review, hex codes use 6 hexadecimal digits to represent colors, 2 each for red, green, and blue components. From these 3 pure colors, red, green, and blue, we can vary the amounts of each to create over 16 million other colors. For example, orange is pure red mixed with some green and no blue. In hex code, this translates to being FFA500. The digit 0 is the lowest number in the hex code and represents a complete absence of color. The digit F is the highest number in hex code and represents the maximum possible brightness. Replace the color words in our style element with their correct hex codes. Here we have black, which we already know is hashtag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Green is here. Copy that, paste it there. Then we have orange, copy that. So I guess I'm doing them wrong. Green is green. This is Dodger blue text. So Dodger blue would be here. We copy that one, go there, add that there. Orange would be this one. Copy that, put it there. Okay. We should be able to look at that. We have I am red, I'm green, Dodger blue, and orange. Run test. Give your H1 element with the text I am red the color red. Oh, that's because I put red text. Copy, paste. Now we pass. Let's continue. Use abbreviated hex code. Many people feel overwhelmed by the possibilities of more than 16 million colors, and it's difficult to remember hex code. Fortunately, you can shorten it. For example, red hex code FF0000 can be shortened to F00. This shortened form gives 1 digit for red, 1 digit for green, and 1 digit for blue. This reduces the total number of possible colors to around 4,000, but browsers will interpret FF0000 and F00 as exactly the same color. Go ahead, try using the abbreviated hex codes to color the correct elements. So let's look at cyan, copy, go here, paste. Green, where's green? Here we can do 0F0. Then there's red, we can do F00. Then that fuchsia, whatever that is, F0F. So F0F. That should be, there it is, red, fuchsia, cyan, green. Run test, passed. Use RGB values to color elements. Another way you can represent colors in CSS is by using RGB values. The RGB values for black looks like this. RGB 000. The RGB value for white looks like this. 255, 255, 255. Instead of using 6 hexadecimal digits like you do with hex code, with RGB you specify the brightness of each color with a number between 0 and 255. If you do the math, the two digits for one color equals 16 times 16, which gives us 256 total values. So RGB, which starts counting from 0, has the exact same number of possible values as hex code. Here's an example of how you could change the body background to orange using its RGB code. So we have 255, 165, and 0, where red is all the way, green is at 165 brightness, and then no blue. So let's replace the hex code in our body element's background color with the RGB value for black. Go here, we do an RGB 0, 0, 0. Now we have that black show up right there in that corner. Cool, run test. We did pass. So use RGB to mix colors. Just like with hex code, you can mix colors in RGB by using combinations of different values. Replace the hex codes in our style element with their correct RGB values. Red text, let's do RGB and 255, 0, 0. Then let's do this orchid, and that's RGB 218, 112, 214. Then sienna, oops, we forgot that, and then RGB 160, 82, 45. Blue text 00255, RGB 00255. Run test, and I guess I missed something somewhere. Give your H1 elements, okay, 8245. Let's try that again. We did pass. So use CSS variables to change several elements at once. CSS variables are a powerful way to change many CSS style properties at once by changing only one value. Follow the instructions below to see how changing just 3 values can change the styling of many elements. In the penguin class, change the black values to gray, the gray values to white, and the yellow values to orange. So in the penguin class, where is this? Here's our penguin class. Change the black value to gray, black value to gray. We should look at what's going on first. So we're going to change these 3 to gray, white, and orange. Okay? Gray, white, and orange. Let's see right now how that is going to look. Gray, white, and orange. That was pretty amazing. Let us run that. Oh, penguin class should declare the penguin skin variable and assign it to gray. Spelled gray wrong. Gray. Nothing changed, but they do want it spelled that way. We did pass, and we are amazing. Create a custom CSS variable. To create a CSS variable, you need to give it a name with 2 dashes in front of it and assign it a value like this. So 2 dashes, penguin skin, and we're giving it gray. This will create a variable named penguin skin and assign it the values of gray. Now you can use that variable elsewhere in your CSS to change the value of other elements to gray. In the penguin class, create a variable named penguin skin and give it a value of gray. So penguin class, this is it. Add a code below here. We're doing a dash dash penguin skin, and we're giving it, well, let's see again. Let's zoom out. Penguin skin and do gray. Give it a value of gray. Do that. Penguin class should declare, oh, I did it again, gray. We did pass. Use a custom CSS variable. After you create your variable, you can assign its value to other CSS properties by referencing the name you gave it. So here we do background, var, and then we can just throw in there penguin skin. This will change the background of whatever element you are targeting to gray because that is the value of penguin skin variable. Note that styles will not be applied unless the variable names are an exact match. Apply the penguin skin variable to the background property of the penguin top, penguin bottom, right hand, and left hand classes. So penguin skin is going to go penguin top. So we're going to here background dash dash penguin, let us go a little this way, penguin skin. So just want to make sure. So we should do var penguin skin. So do this, do that, var. I see. They already have background in there. So we just want to take that, erase this, go here, paste that, and we see the top, gray. So I can also go to bottom here, paste that. I could do right hand, left hand, and that should satisfy that. Next, attach a fallback value to a CSS variable. When using your variable as a CSS property value, you can attach a fallback value that your page will revert to if for some reason it can't get your variable to work. It could be that someone is using an older browser that hasn't yet adopted CSS variables, or perhaps their device doesn't support the value you gave the variable. Here's how you do it. We just do a comma and then black. This will set to black if there's a problem with your variable. Note that this can be useful for debugging. Add a fallback value of black to the background property of penguin top and penguin bottom class. Go in here and do black. That was for top, so let's do bottom. Go in here and do black. And there we go. Run test. We did pass. Cascading CSS variables. When you create a variable, it becomes available for you to use inside of the element in which you created it. It also becomes available within any elements nested within it. This effect is known as cascading. Because of cascading, CSS variables are often defined in the root element. You can think of the root element as a container for your entire HTML document, in the same way that an HTML element is a container for the body element. By creating your variable in root, they will be available throughout the whole web page. So define a variable named penguin belly in the root selector and give it the value of pink. You can then see how the value will cascade down to change the value to pink anywhere the variable is used. Okay, so here we're going to do dash dash penguin dash belly and give it a pink. Run that. We did pass. So change a variable for a specific area. When you create your variables in root, they will set the value of that variable for the whole page. You can then overwrite these variables by setting them again within a specific element. Change the value of penguin belly to white in the penguin class. Here's penguin class. Let's go in here. Let us change the value penguin belly and do white. Run this test and it did pass. So now we're going to use a media query to change a variable. CSS variables can simplify the way you use media queries. For instance, when your screen is smaller or larger than your media query breakpoint, you can change the value of a variable and will apply its style wherever it is used. In the root selector of the media query, change it so penguin size is redefined and given a value of 200 pixels. Also redefine penguin skin and give it a value of black. Then resize the preview to see this change in action. So here's our media query. We're going in here. We're redefining penguin size 200 pixels and penguin skin given value of black. There's our penguin. Let us try to zoom this. I don't know how I'm going to zoom this. Maybe by doing this. Oh, okay. Let's try now. So something should have happened. Well, first let's see if we're passing this. Root should reassign the penguin size variable to 200 pixels. Okay, let's see that first. Oh, I did 300. 200? Run that. Root. Oh yeah, no, that's here. So let's go back to here, do that back to 300, and this one should be 200 pixels. Okay, so when the screen gets to a certain size, it should get smaller. Yep, there it is, and it turned to black. Awesome. So that is a media query rule. Run that test. We did pass it. So we're going to go ahead and end it there since we did finally pass the basic CSS section of freeCodeCamp. We've learned a lot of cool stuff, and I'll probably just end this here since I really don't see any reason to go over this stuff since it was pretty simple. We haven't gotten to like the hard stuff yet. I'm trying to open back I'm trying to open this back up. This is our best page ever. Really, we can just go back and do stuff here. Really, the only thing we learned from this video that was new was basically that we can use hexadecimal colors. We can also use RGB colors. And there's really, it's just kind of a preference thing, which is why I'm not really too big on practicing what we learned, since you guys already know how to do that. Right now, what you guys need most is just to practice all this material and try to create cool things and just mess with all the different syntax that we learned as far as HTML and CSS. The next sections we'll be doing are going to push you a little bit more to actually do something with your knowledge. So right now, just focus on learning the grammar or the syntax and mastering that part of it. You don't need to memorize all the different elements and all the different styling and attributes, but it does help to know more, and the more you know, the more you have at your disposal when you want to create something. So I'll leave you guys with that. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe if you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next videos.